In today's video, I'm going to explain exactly how a TFSA, so that's a tax-free savings account, works. So we're gonna go over the basics of how it works. We're gonna go over what the contribution limits are. We're gonna talk about how you can withdraw money and income and capital from your account. And then also stick around to the end because I am going to be going over a few special considerations that you need to know for the TFSA. So let's just get right into the video. What is up, guys? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Philip Setter. I'm the founder and CEO of Affinity Life, which is an online life insurance platform here in Canada, but I will tell you guys a little bit more about that later on in this video. Let's start talking about the TFSA. Okay, so the TFSA, the tax-free savings account here in Canada. First of all, I feel like whoever named this account really didn't do it any justice because tax-free savings account sounds more or less like you're just putting this into some type of bond or GIC or something where you're making like 1 or 2%, when in reality, that's not at all. It should be tax-free investment account. That sounds a lot smarter. I think the banks might have petitioned this a little bit so they can trick consumers into just putting it within their savings account within the bank and then have all that money from the TFSA. But just know that you can put it into a multitude of different investments: stocks, bonds, GICs, investments that do 1%, and investments that do 10 or 20%. I mean, there's no limit. So within this account, any returns that you accrue are all tax-free. And now this is different from an RRSP, and I made another video on the RRSP, and you can watch that there. With a TFSA, when you contribute into that account, there's no corresponding tax deduction like there is with an RRSP. You pay tax on your income, you take some of that income, and then you put it into a TFSA, and there's no tax deduction to your income. However, with that capital now in that account, any returns that you accrue are 100% tax-free. So this could come from a multitude of different investment sources, and this could be interest income, this could be capital gains, this could be dividends, and these could also be distributions from a REIT, which is a real estate investment trust, or an income trust. And I will be talking later in this video about withdrawing income, so don't worry about that. So the age limits for a TFSA, depending on what province you are in Canada, it's usually at age 18. So at age 18, you can now start contributing to your TFSA. A TFSA works differently than an RRSP, like I mentioned. An RRSP, you need to convert it into something called a RIF, a Registered Retirement Income Fund, at age 71, and then there's a minimum prescribed amount that you need to withdraw. So there are some restrictions on an RRSP. However, a TFSA doesn't have those same restrictions. So you can start contributing at 18. However, you can take it out at age 50, you can take it out at age 70 or 80 or 90. It doesn't need to be converted into any other type of account, and there's no minimum withdrawals that you need to take out of this account later on in life. It's completely flexible. Okay, so let's talk about the contribution limits for a TFSA. So this account started in 2009. I'm just looking at my computer screen here. So basically, if you were age 18 at 2009, then it would have started cumulatively growing since that point. After that, it depends on what age you turned, or pardon me, what year you turned 18. And I'll put this up in the video here so you can see it, but I'm just gonna read off the screen. So basically, the annual limit that they increase it by is roughly around $5,000 to $5,500 per year. There was one year in 2015 where they actually increased it $10,000, which was an awesome year. That's really cool. But on average, it goes anywhere from $5,000, $5,500, $6,000 a year. 2019, 2020, 21, and 22 were all 6,000 a year. So the way to calculate your contribution room, pardon me, is very easy. If you were 18 years old in 2009, you would then look at the total contribution room. So let's assume that you've put nothing into your TFSA and it's now 2022. That would mean that you would have a total contribution room limit of $81,500. Now, if you don't want to do the hard math of figuring out when you turned 18, so let's say you turned 18 in 2004, then you would have to add 2004 to 2022. If you don't want to do that hard math, I'll put a calculator in the description and you can just enter when you were born and it'll calculate what your TFSA room is, assuming that you haven't contributed anything into it. One cool thing to know about the contribution room is this limit, by the way, is only on contribution, not on growth. So what I mean by that is, let's hypothetically say that you have $0 in your TFSA, you've never contributed to it, you were age 18 at 2009 or earlier, and it's now 2022. So your limit is $81,500. So let's assume that you put $81,500 into your TFSA, and hypothetically it just explodes. The next year, you have $160,000 in that account. Well, assuming that the government is going to allow an additional $6,000 of contribution limit for the next year, 2023, that doesn't mean that you can't contribute anything because you're above. It's only on what you've previously put in, not on the growth of the TFSA. So you're always going to be able to continually put more and more into your TFSA, and how much you're making within it isn't going to affect that. So if you want to look up what your limit is, assuming that you have put something into your TFSA, there's two different places that you can find it. And by the way, this is only updated once a year, so don't rely on this 100%. The emphasis is on you to keep track of what your accounts are at and how much you've contributed to your TFSA. But these are the two places that you can find it. So the first one is on your notice of assessment that you receive from the CRA, and you receive that once a year when you file your taxes. And so you can look on that and find what your contribution room is, both for your TFSA as well as for your RRSP. The second place that you can find it is you can actually create what's called a My Account with the CRA, and you can just log in and view it right online. It's very easy. And again, I'll put the link in the description of where you can actually register for this online account with the CRA. If you don't already have one, it's a really good tool to have, just because you can look up what taxes are due, if there's any outstanding benefits you might be eligible for, and of course, your NOA, all your tax forms, and your contribution limit. So it's a really good account to have. Now, over contributing to your TFSA is a very bad problem that you do not want to do. Basically, this is how it works. If you over contribute to your TFSA, every month that you're over contributed, meaning that let's say your limit was 50,000 and you put 60,000 into it, every month that you're over, you're going to be paying 1% per month on what's over that limit. So that $10,000 is now at 1% penalty per month. That's 12% per year. That's a lot. So be very careful that you don't over contribute, and make sure you stay within those limits. Okay, I mentioned at the beginning of this video that I was going to tell you a little bit about Affinity Life. So yes, Affinity Life is an online life insurance platform here in Canada. Again, I'm the founder and CEO. We began development on this project in 2020, and we officially launched in 2022. And essentially, this is what it is. It's an online life insurance platform where you can self-serve, educate yourself on the different products, term life insurance and others. You can find quotes 100% online without having to put in all your information and have a call center pester you. You can instantly see them right on the screen, very simply, to see how much your price would be. And 3, of course, you can apply 100% online. And not like the gimmick where you half apply online and then somebody calls you and then you have to go through this huge questionnaire. No, everything is done 100% online, so you don't have to leave your house. It's built for that self-serve individual who wants to self-educate themselves on the product and simply just purchase it online. So if that sounds interesting to you, I'll put the link in the description below and you can check that out. Okay, let's quickly talk about withdrawing income from this account, because with an RSP, there's a ton of restrictions. And if you pull it out, it's going to be taxable. That's not like that with a TFSA. With a TFSA, you can withdraw as much as you want. You can withdraw 50,000, whatever, it doesn't matter. You can withdraw what you would like out of this account, and it's all tax-free, and it's not going to impact your contribution limit. You just can't put it back right away. So let's say that your limit was $50,000 and you had $50,000 in that account, just to make numbers simple. Well, let's say you wanted to take $30,000 out. No problem. You can take that money out, use it for your personal expenses or personal reasons, doesn't matter, and then you can recontribute it back the following year. And by the way, the following year starts January 1st. So hypothetically, if it was December, let's say 10th or 15th, and you had some money in your TFSA, you had a good year, and you wanted to maybe take it out, buy some Christmas presents, take a little bit of money for vacation purposes, whatever it is, you can do that. And then January 1st, right away, you could then redeposit that back in and it would not affect your contribution limit. So the last section I'll talk about here is just some special considerations that you want to be aware of with a TFSA. So number one, just like everything is tax-free within a TFSA, so any capital gains you have are not taxable, dividends are not taxable, interest is not taxable. If you have a capital loss within your TFSA, meaning meaning that you had some type of stock and it went down in value and you sold it at a loss, you can't use that loss against any other type of capital gain, maybe in a non-registered account or some other type of account. That capital loss is simply gone. Another thing to note about losses is if you sell at that loss, that's gonna cause basically a permanent reduction in your contribution room. So here's a quick example. Let's say that you contributed $50,000 into your TFSA, and let's just say hypothetically you bought one share of Apple, and just to make things easy, let's say that one share of Apple was $50,000. I don't know, the new iPhone came out, it sucked, it tanked, and the stock went down to $40,000 and you sold. However, you've used up that limit of $50,000. That's gone forever. You can't put another additional $10,000 in to bump that back up. So if you sell at a loss, just know that contribution limit will be lost forever. Day trading is also not allowed in a TFSA. And so day trading is a little bit of a peculiar, that's a hard word to say, peculiar one. And the way that the CRA looks at this is a number of different factors. So they look at the duration of holding, so how quickly you're buying and selling the stocks. They look at your trading volume, your time spent trading, types of investments that you're in, your experience in the securities market, and your purchase intent. And so they take all those, and if you're a day trader and you're trying to use this TFSA account to buy and sell on a very frequent basis, that's not eligible for the TFSA. That is taxable and will be, pardon me, treated as business income. And of course, if you're a day trader watching this video, you probably already knew that, but that's okay, now you know. And the last point that I'll talk about in this video is within your TFSA, Canadian stocks, get out of here, fruit fly. Canadian stocks are tax-free within a TFSA. However, this is the downfall. US stocks and US ETFs will be subject to a 15% withholding tax. They're not eligible to be tax-free within a TFSA for those reasons. The US government and the IRS do not consider the TFSA as a registered account, and they don't recognize it as a tax-free account. And so for those reasons, US equities and US ETFs are not tax-free. There is that withholding tax. So I would recommend not putting US stocks and US ETFs into your TFSA. I would put that into your RRSP because, again, the IRS does recognize that as a tax registered account. So just keep your Canadian stocks in your TFSA and you will be good. I hope that you found this video educational and informative. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments below. And if you guys are enjoying this content, all I ask is that you give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next video.